Millard Fuller's focus for the past 40 years has been on building simple, decent, affordable housing for the disadvantaged in over 100 countries.
I think the mark of a great civilization is how well it takes care of the least among us. I don't think you really determine the greatness of a civilization by its big buildings or the number of billionaires it has produced or the size of the lawns on big McMansions. But I think the true measure of greatness is in how well you take care of the least among us.
Fuller and his wife started Habitat for Humanity in 1976 and the Fuller Center for Housing in 2005, a grassroots effort to build basic housing for people who otherwise couldn't afford it, using volunteers, no-interest loans, and the homeowners themselves.
It is my belief that everyone should have an adequate place to live.
Fuller's work has been honored by 2 U.S. presidents.
Millard Fuller has literally revolutionized the concept of philanthropy.
My wife Linda has been a huge influence on me. I met her when I was a junior in law school at the University of Alabama. She was a junior in high school. And when I knocked on the door and she came to the door, I thought she was about the prettiest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I was totally captivated by her.
When I met Millard, he was tall, and that's what I was looking for. I wanted to be able to wear high heels on a date. In high school, I was taller than all the boys. I got to know Millard, as a law student, doing business ventures with Morris Dees. We only had like one night a week that we saw each other. But Millard called me every night and we would talk. So over the course of a year, we got to know each other pretty well. And I bought into his goal to become a millionaire. My goal was to graduate from college.
A year later, we were married. I had been hugely successful in business and had gotten all of the things that money will get for you. We had been very involved in a very materialistic lifestyle. She ended up leaving me because I was more married to the company than I was to her. And her bold action precipitated a huge change in our lives.
He had always longed to have a good family, a wife and children, but yet he had this other dream of becoming a successful businessman, and the two things just weren't working.
We decided to give our wealth away and seek a life of Christian service, and we had no idea what that would be.
We felt like we were called to just give everything away to the poor, mission work, and just start totally over and throw ourselves on the mercy of God and ask to be led. We had no idea what we would do, but the thing that we did know was that we were going to do it together, and that we were going to do something that would be meaningful and make a difference in the world.
When I was in business, she was not a part of it. She didn't even know what was going on. But since that point forward, we have just had a very, very close relationship, and she and I have been together. We have been partners in the fullest sense of the word in everything that I have done.
After giving away their assets, they moved to a farm community in southwest Georgia.
The Koinonia experience was a profound one. We went there for the first time at a crisis point in our lives. And we literally felt that God led us to Koinonia, this small Christian community that we knew practically nothing about, and met a man there named Clarence Jordan. He really exposed us to values and ideas and insights that were new to us. It was a life-changing experience. Koinonia had been the object of intense persecution because it was an integrated Christian community in the heart of the segregated South. They openly associated with people of different races. They questioned materialism. They were just active peacemakers, people seeking to be agents of social change. And really that's where the seeds were planted for what became Habitat for Humanity and now the Fuller Center for Housing.
During the early years, the Fullers worked with the Koinonia founders to address substandard housing in Sumter County, Georgia. They then moved to Africa for several years, continuing their missionary work, building housing for the poor. With experience gained in Sumter County and Africa, they formed Habitat for Humanity in 1976 to address housing needs of the disadvantaged throughout the world. In Zaire, they met with tremendous enthusiasm from the villagers.
He yells out whatever it is he wants to affirm, and all the people respond in unison, Oye! Habitat, Oye! And then all the people yell in unison, Oye! Can you do that? Habitat, Oye! Oye! Russell Thomas, Oye! Oye! Rosalind Carter, Oye! Oye!
Back in 1983, we were about to celebrate the 7th year anniversary of Habitat for Humanity. And Millard comes up with this crazy idea, 7 years, 700, we ought to walk somewhere for 700 miles. We could raise money. This was back in the days when very few people knew about Habitat for Humanity. We planned this walk, and I said, well, Millard, you're getting people to sponsor you and other people participating in the walk for like $1 a mile. I said, what if something happens to you, sprain an ankle and you can't walk? Then, I would have to fill in for you. So I trained with him. We walked 3 miles a day, then it was 5 miles a day, then it was 5 miles in the morning and 5 miles in the night. I was in such good shape, I told Millard, I'm going to walk to Atlanta. Our target was Indianapolis. And so after Atlanta, I said, Millard, I think I can walk the whole way. So we did, and 2 other people and hundreds of people joined us on that walk. We started a lot of Habitat affiliates along the way. Our goal was to raise $100,000, and we raised more than that. Seems to me such a off-the-wall, crazy idea. I've seen it work, and I think seriously every time Millard comes up with a crazy idea, because he knows what will work. I have faith in him.
Their work took them all over the world. There are Habitat homes in more than 100 countries.
To making it possible for everybody to have a house. We are going to do it. And we are going to do it because we're going to do it together.
This is a Habitat house. This is a Habitat house.
You take away profit, you take away interest, and the house becomes affordable, even for a person of very limited income. The father of Habitat for Humanity in Tanzania.
Na pia niko pamoja na baba wa Habitat for Humanity Tanzania, Baba Mpango.
It's a simple thing to build houses and invite strangers in. But it's the very essence of something which is so very profound, and that is expressing love in a tangible, concrete, specific way. You can build a simple house and still build it well. It doesn't have to be fancy to be high quality. And so today we dedicate 8 houses to these 8 families.
Esas 8 familias.
And these families are now living in these houses.
Y esas familias ya se han mudado a sus casas.
The houses were not given to them.
No fueron regalados.
Habitat for Humanity is not charity.
Habitat para la Humanidad no es la caridad.
We give an opportunity to people.
She says you can certainly see it in our face.
¡A la Pérez, oye!
We're waiting for the milk to boil and overflow as a symbol of what we all hope for this family, that they will have a life of prosperity and happiness with always a full and overflowing pot. 1, 2, 3.
We thank you for the ministry of the Habitat for Humanity.
Over on the hill there are 12 Habitat for Humanity houses, and it's what is called Millard Linda Gardens. Very little substandard housing in Japan. So we come to countries like Japan and say to you, you need to help us in other countries. Come over to the Philippines and give us a helping hand. Go down to Sri Lanka and give us a helping hand. Because those too are your fellow human beings. We could have an outpouring of support, financial support, human support from Singapore to spread out across this part of the world. First bicycle ride that's been done in Korea for Habitat for Humanity. It's a long way from Seoul to Taebaek City, and you made it all the way. Cyclists, oyez! Oyez! Cyclists, oyez! Oyez!
My name is Mercedes Gasita. I live now in a very good house that's very secured. We have a separate kitchen. We have a toilet. A toilet is a very #1 because in my other house we have no toilets.
Saka di na kami natatakot ng sunog. Pinakaingat-ingatan ko kami ito na wag mahulog.
She says that is her most valuable possession.
But we say in Habitat for Humanity, let us lay aside those political and those religious differences. Let us use that simple tool of the construction trade and lay aside all of our differences and go out and build houses and demonstrate love in that way.